other voices could express actively joint initiatives with the independent publishing community, especially when the pandemic struck. It continues to serve as a delicate society publications, which furthers its attention to scholarly issues. To come together, strengthen the unity and the community of wordsmiths, bookmakers, designers, artists, and publishers, so we can thrive and continue our work in holding space for alternative voices. Keep hearing the unheard music of the bigger sound of life and struggle as it rings and echoes the truest hymns about sounding voices.
Okay, welcome to the second part of TV Popcorn 2.0 here in Cebu. So with us today, for the next talk, we're going to talk about the millennial writers in Cebu. Right. So we have four authors here. We have Romero, Salud, Daniel Indic, and Alyssa Caballero. So let me just start with introducing each one of them. So JC has written a romance book entitled Every Time. Yeah, so there you have it. We just launched it yesterday. And there's also Leila Jane Salud, winner of Reader's Choice Award, poetry book entitled My Moon, and also recently launched Your Human by Daniel Indic. There you go, science fiction. And another romance from Alyssa Caballero, right? Loving Mr. Unlikable. So we're going to hear stories by Cebuano writers in hmm, millennial, in the millennial phase. No, so it's going to be, we're going to know their perspective, their views, their opinions. Because, well, millennials are also shaping the world right now. I'm a millennial, so well, okay, so I prepared several questions here, but let me just explain the objective of this talk. The goal of this talk is to discuss the variety of contemporary works of literature written by millennials and Gen Z in Cebu. So yes, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so my first question for you guys, maybe let's start with JP. Okay, my first question: what are the kinds of Cebuano literature that you were exposed to growing up in Cebu? I believe you all grew up in Cebu. How about that, JP?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. To tell everyone, I was like a romantic one. So I grew up in the region of Davao. But I believe that the Cebu and Davao are most close to each other because we have the same native dialect, which is Cebuano or Bisaya. So yes, in Davao, or find there the literature is rich. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so JC, yes. Okay, I just learned just now that you grew up in Davao. So what were the kind of literature, that you were reading growing up? What kind of books?
When I grew up, so I was fond of reading children's books, you see. And actually, I also read from my aunt's book, Cebuano, like a Cebuano children's book. Yeah, yes.
How about you, Leia? I was exposed with Balak since I'm in so most of people here are poets. It's already written in history that most of the Cebuanos are poets. And it's commonly called as Balak, and that's why I also um, I'm also inspired to make one, and that's why I wrote different kinds of poetry, but I haven't write Messiah. So yeah, maybe soon. But yes, that's what I was Thank you. Yes, Daniel.
Me too. I was born in Manila, and my military days was late there. And the easier till today is here in Cebu. So I'm Cebuano in my heart. And I know that Cebuano literature can be traced all the way back in the Spaniards, the father of Cebuano literature. Because I took college uh, English literature, and there's some, some knowledge about it. But I'm a dropout of that course. It was like waste of time, 4 years. It was my third course, so I dropped it. I dropped out that course. So, but in my case, because the question is, what was the influence growing up? There are a lot of literatures like ways. There's the written, the play, and the oral. And really, what impacted me the most growing up is the Johnny Puso, di ba? With Father in one place, Memo Kuya, my cousin, with the maestro at the time, with share stores, the adventure, Johnny, Juan, Pedro, you. And that's the influence what impacted me. And actually, this book has actually like, there's a taste of it, of a little bit of comedy. So I'll talk about it later. So yeah, the oral was impacted me the most growing up.
Okay, so Elisa, how about you?
Yeah, I'm actually not from Cebu as well. I only lived here for a total of 3 years, and I'm actually as for the Cebuano literature, I've come across it recently. So it's out of curiosity and also in preparation for my textbook. It's Maligo Yawa. This the true story of Bagas Yawa. Because as they all know, that word is bad. So it's very misunderstood and Cebuano literature in that.
a betrayal partner. So yeah, I discussed here how she
There you have it. And it's kind by Romero. So how about Leah? What or how did you make it to the Reader's Top Choice Award?
So, when writing this book, it was unexpected because I was only bored during the quarantine. But that's time that I started in Wattpad. And so after 2 years, I decided that I want to get published. So I tried to submit a manuscript to publisher, but then it's rejected. So I was sad at that. And after a week of realized, I received an email that they want my book to be. So that's the time that I really changed. So I got published January 25, 2021. Then it was virtual and I get to go to Manila International Book Fair to launch my book there physically with other authors from international and local authors. Then also last October, the Filipino Readers' Choice Award opened the nomination for titles in different categories, including poetry. And I got shocked when a friend of mine mentioned me that I was one of the nominees. Because I expected it. How could my book do that? Diba? So then when the book started, the book is always in the top 10, and there was a time that it top 2. So recently they announced the finalists, and my book is the top 2 finalist. And on December 2, they will announce who will be the winner. So I'm not expecting that I'm going to win it because I'm already grateful enough that as the first time published author, as the first time nominated for the prestigious award, my book made it, and it's going to be a bonus if I win it. So and this book is actually entitled because I'm someone who is fascinated with the moon and it inspires my life. I can make different metaphors related to the moon. It can be about the love, friends, and families, and so I raise some nature.
Okay. So how about you, Leah? You're human. You talked about it yesterday on stage as well. But I think the audience here also deserve to learn about the book.
It's a science fiction mixed with fantasy. And I wrote this book during the pandemic. Here's the story. During the lockdown of March, I worked in a PPO. So we were booked in a hotel just across our office. So we would walk by to report duty. And then one day, I was during my day off. I was walking to eat my breakfast. I was served office at the hotel, but you could save. And I was reading things about the virus. I was walking. I feel like one of the movies that I mentioned. I'm all human left in this world. I was imagining the virus every time I would think the air would stick into my throat and my lungs. And sometimes I would hold my breath like so that I could walk past the office as if I were having this at all. So I was imagining what if there's a human that's immune to virus? So that's the where it all started as well. So I categorized the virus as to be like uh, cyborgs, the modified humans, dinosaurs that mutated, and then there's the protagonist, the only pure human. There's no body modification. This is an adventure, so it's an amazing book. So, yeah.
Yes, so I heard the story yesterday, but I'm not getting tired of that story. I mean, how you came up with the book, because like it's really something. I think all of us, as writers, we all have these epiphany know, oh, I'm going to write this book. Like when a plot comes into your mind, well, like what happened to Daniel? He was walking, and then all of a sudden, okay, what if? And I think as an indie owner, and then now having your book out there, I think it's one thing you're able to express this tiny idea in your head, right? Like, oh, it's already here. It's a physical book already, and that's the flexibility. One of the flexibilities of being an indie writer. So I think the same goes with Alyssa Caballero, writing, loving Mr. Unlikable. Yeah, so in a way,
When I wrote this book, it was out of a dare from my friends. So I would, in our private chat room, I would write scenes where they would enjoy it and they say like, hey, why don't you make a story out of this? And like, okay. So when you watch a specific show with me and my friends of this specific K-pop band, I saw this guy. He's a very grumpy guy, but he is also a bit softy. He takes care of his friends. And I was like, I want that guy. I want to write about that guy. He seems interesting. And I basically made the entire plot with like different what ifs. What if he encountered this kind of annoying woman, or what if he is put in this situation? So from that curiosity, I managed to make my own story. And also, I managed to squeeze it after work of writing. So that's basically it. There was no sudden like, oh, I should write this story. Like it came to me from like Virgin Mexico. No, but it actually just, I'm gonna write a story. Life's too short. I'm gonna publish it, and I'll worry about what happens later. So that's how it came.
thank you, Anissa. But about the book, I think people should also know what is it like. So, okay, you wrote about that personality. Okay, um, but this book is romance, of course, set in.
This book is actually set in Siargao. The first time I went to Siargao, I fell in love with the place, and it was like the perfect place to start something romantic and start something eye-opening. So this story talks about Haley and Steph. Haley is a go-getter. She is a dreamer. She's not afraid to get what she wants, work hard for it, and take no risks. She's an extrovert and an actual walking sunshine. And then there's Sam, who is the exact opposite. He is struggling to make ends meet. He is living in Siargao. He is grumpy. He gave up on life. He is the exact opposite of you. He doesn't like to associate with other people. So with these two contrasting personalities, they manage to like bump each other, like they're stuck in certain situations where they have to like converse or interact with each other. And he really would enjoy every minute of it while Stan hated every minute. So that's where the banters, the funny wit, and the comedy starts with this book. And also the realities of living as a struggling millennial in this year. Because it's hard to secure a job, it's hard to really think of the future when you're struggling as of this moment. So they're tackling this here in their both of their POVs. So that's basically a, that's basically
So there's the romance story written by Alyssa, and it's written in English because, well, while I was growing up, just like JB, I was exposed to Precious Hearts romance. And well, at that time we didn't really have a lot of resources to buy books from the bookstore. So like the most accessible was the like, Precious Hearts romance. And like like they would rent it out for I don't know 5 pesos at that time. And then my aunties had a lot of romance books, and I realized oh I could also earn money during summertime renting out Precious Hearts romance books. But nowadays, I think we're getting more variety of romance writers in the Philippines, especially when Wattpad came. What I know you didn't or you haven't really written in Wattpad, right? You started with fan fiction, is that right?
Yes, I started with fan fiction. I skipped one entirely.
Yeah, so you skip Wattpad entirely. This is not the conventional millennial way because a lot of millennial writers nowadays they start with Wattpad, but you decided to write fan fiction. But where do you publish them?
There was a website back then. I don't know if it still exists. Fanfiction.net. I would pull up things from my favorite movies, from my favorite anime, cartoons, books, and I would create my own story through like those characters existing. So, but as I churn out a lot of plots for these characters, and I gathered some sort of following, I began to realize that I wanted to make my own story using my own characters. So that's when it started. I stopped fan fiction. I didn't try one bad. I just wrote and then
There. So the millennial writers, I think we have this advantage of using technology on our side. We use Wattpad, we use fanfiction.net, we use what's available right there to publish. It's actually easier now to publish or indie publish, self-publish your book, right? So now my next question is going backtracking to the Cebuano literature. Would you define, would you, do you think you can define yourself as a someone who's writing Cebuano literature? And is there any Cebuano culture written in your book? Like, may influence ba? Was there influence of being in Cebu in any of your books?
oh, for this book, there are no simple influences, sadly. But I am currently writing a new book, which is where I tackled my first brush with Cebuano literature, and there will be a lot of Visayan mythological creatures, mythological origins in my next book. So that will be more like it's dripping with Cebuano, about like different parts of the mythological origins. So that's where it'll in my next.
Looking forward to that book, Alyssa. So, how about you, Daniel?
Yes, um, as I was impacted by the chat, so the joke. Actually, I put a little taste of comedy in this book. And if you read this book, you will have a common ground of the protagonist, like because spoiler alert, the character wears a barong, a chinelas. So his joke is like you're like, it's one little character. So he will have a feeling this guy is in one. So I think that's representation.
That's very important nowadays, isn't it? To have a representation. Okay, how about you, Leah?
So I mentioned earlier that Balak really uh, inspires me, it influenced me. So I had this book, so it's more, it may not be written in Cebuano, but the culture of writing poetry is here in Cebu. Since then until now, that I think it influenced my book and me, and I'm almost done with my another book that is also poetry. It is composed of 100 poems. So I think Balak really influenced me, and that's a culture that Cebuano should promote more.
Okay, so yes, Miss JC.
So for this book, Empty Tank, so I think there's no Cebuano culture here, but in my another book, which is ongoing on Wattpad, so there are a lot of Cebuano culture included there. So specifically, the Sinulo. So I included there the event Sinulo. There's also a setting because my male lead character there is the CEO of Beach Resort. So they're in Lapu-Lapu, and also I included also Camotes Island. He has also a branch in Camotes. And aside from that, I also include the famous Santo Niño, the Magellan's Cross, the famous also Puso and Lechon. So kabalutaan ni tanan nga nagikanin sa Cebu, no? So diri po tang murag na ilado. And also, what else? The taps. So kabalo siguro mo tanan ng taps nga sikat. Sikat kaayo nga tourist spot diri sa Cebu. So what else? The museum. Yes, and also and specifically the oldest street in the Philippines, the Colon. Yeah, there's also included there in my Promise Love novel.
Wow, that's really nice. And I'm sure a lot of Cebuano readers would love that. So, like, it's like seeing your idol or seeing what you or the setting that you grew up in a book or in a story. Right. Okay. So my next question has something to do with you being a self-published author, right? Because you can try to submit it in the traditional publishing houses. And we all know being an indie writer, it's actually it needs a lot of effort. As I mentioned earlier with my talk with Miss Nitos, it's 50-50. Like 50% the publisher's effort and 50% your effort. Why did you decide to go in the self-publishing route? And the follow-up question would be, uh, how are you marketing yourself out there? How are you convincing people to buy your book? Because I think it really helps them, if we can sell the books that you've written. Getting your work out there is like maybe 50% of the task, but convincing people, telling people that please buy this book. Now, what are the efforts that you've made so far? I think with us being live right now on Facebook and later on there'll be articles to be written about this topic. What are the ways that you're doing in promoting your book? Yes, so Miss Jade.
So for me, because we are now in the high technology, so I promote my works through Facebook. So there, I have also friends who promoted my works because I believe, as an indie writer, this is not a one-man show. So as what Miss Mitos said yesterday, that it takes a village, to publish a book. So in my side, I promoted it on Wattpad and also in my Facebook page. And for me, self-publishing is really a challenging job now. Because, yeah, as I said, Mrs., it's a 50-50, uh, either gain or loss. So this is really hard. But I believe this is also a challenging, because if you will succeed, it will be a testimony for the many aspiring writers.
Yeah, because I just want to point out, as introduced yesterday sa Cebu Fest, Miss Jay-Z has 4 kids. So I don't know how you even managed to write. I only have 1 kid, and I can't even write anymore. But yeah, so you're doing great so far with marketing your book. So uh, let me just put it this way. So you're promoting it using Wattpad, you're promoting it using Facebook, and you're also telling your community about the book. Okay, how about you, Miss Leia?
So at first, I never thought that my book will get published. So during the writing experience, I get to meet a lot of people. I meet my readers, and I get to have connections with them, as what mentioned by Mami Jay-Z yesterday. So I get to have relationship with other people. So that way, I get those people that I met when I started writing. they know what I've been through before I publish my book. And I think if people know your story, if people get to be with you when you are working on your dreams and you're working on your work, people will help you market your work like, oh, buy this book because that person goes through with it. So that way it's very, very a testimony to me that um, most of my readers are doing that. Like in what most of the millennials think that if you have many followers in Wattpad, your book will be a bestseller. But unfortunately, I don't have lots of readers in I mean, followers in Wattpad, but I have a lot of friends, and those friends from different places promoted the book, and that's why many bought my book and many get to discover that this was published and many voted this book during the awards and that helped me a lot.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Leah. Yeah, so before I say my opinion,
Yes, it's 50-50 and 60%. It's really challenging. I'm amazed that for some it's easy to traditional way, but with very difficult to me. I have sent like a lot of proposals to publishers and they rejected me. So that's why I'm so thankful with Cindy and with letters for having my work published. So I'm so blessed to have a great team. I have a professor and friend, an English teacher, who is my copy editor. They're all in one. So, data leaders, they're proof leaders, and I have a friend also, artist, who designed on the cover. So they're it's true. It's a village a team to promote social media and friends. Very challenging.
you're very challenging. So, Alisa,
Yes, I opted for self-publish because I was too scared to submit my manuscript because this is not a child-friendly romance. So I was worried that no one was going to accept it, so I was going to publish it myself. And yeah, I do agree that I do agree what they said. Like it takes really a lot of people to publish a book. I drew the I copied I copy edited it, I proofread it, and then I relied on my team to read letters to do the rest. And then I also have a lot of friends who help me point out some sentences. Like it's actually a teamwork because of my friends, they also scattered my stories so that I can buyers outside my family. So yeah, it's really a team effort.
there we go. So, I think, the reason why we started Indie PubCon. We're a group of indie publishers, of independent publishers. So, it takes a village to promote a writer. It takes same thing, actually, twice or thrice the size to promote Filipino or independent work, independent publishers, or our published books, right? So that's the reason why we started the Independent Publishers Collab page. You can check us out on Facebook. So our past experience, let's say for example, during the Manila International Book Fair, because of our collaboration and with MVDP's help, okay, we only managed to pay a little bit of or just a few amount for um, a booth at SMX convention. Actually a booth cost, I think it's about 40,000 pesos for for exhibiting for 3 days, 3 to 4 days, I believe. So with the help of NBDP and because we're a collab, so like each publisher only managed to pay 3,000 pesos. And And really, that's a big help for all of us because some of us were flying all the way from Cebu, from Mindanao, and just going to Manila alone, that's a lot of expenses. So, ayun, we managed um, to get a lot of sales from that MIBF event. Okay, so okay, I think I would like to highlight the advantages of collaborating with other people. For those writers here, I think we should start collaborating. Okay, this is a good time to network. You know, maybe we can have a collection of stories from Cebu later on. You know, a collection of short stories written by Cebuano writers. You know, that will really help in promoting Cebuano's literature, but it has to be written in Bisaya. And then maybe with English translation. I think um, that's one way to promote Cebuano literature. Okay. How about reading an excerpt from your book? Okay, maybe let's start with Alyssa.
So this is one of the like in chapter two, they in chapter yes, in chapter one, I'm sorry. Chapter one where they finally meet the first time. I had like as usual, I had a lot of fun writing this book. Okay. Haley was rooted to where she stood, unsure of what she needed to do. She then looked outside and gazed locked on the home near her. The snake slithered lazily on her floor. It was just a few minutes away from her otherwise slightly isolated home. She needed to do this. Without thinking much further, she ran towards the home in a frenzy. Paranoid that the snake followed her, she kept turning and looking back to make sure it's not there. Shamelessly, she pounded on the door until an annoyed reply told her to calm down. The door opened and it revealed a frowning, pale man. He was only slightly taller than her, wearing baggy clothes. His hair was long just past his ears, and it hid his annoyed face. Slender, but she could tell that his arms were tall. He was considered average and frankly not Haley's type. I wish a cute guy would rescue me, not this teenager, she thought. What? The man cried. I'm sorry, there's a snake, and she began to say. Do I look like I'm some sort of animal expert to you? The man snapped, cutting her off. Haley wanted to sass, but she needed help. Please help me, I'm scared of snakes. Go home and call the police or something, he said. Steph, don't be mean. Go help the lady. An old woman called out, her voice kind and soft. The old woman peeped from behind him, adorably small compared to the annoyed man. She gave her a warm smile and patted Seth's shoulder affectionately. Haley almost forgot she went there for help. She just wanted to hug the old woman. Seth rolled his eyes but tied his hair back and sighed, Opo, Lola. Haley smiled in relief. Thank you, Po. Thank you too, Seth. Seth flinched away from her as she tried to place her hand on his shoulder. Don't touch me, Lucy, and walked towards her house. What is his problem? So that is their first meeting.
So in writing, in our romance master class, the first meeting is what you call a meet cute. Did you feel the kilig? Right. Okay. Okay. Your turn, David.
Just a little bit of context. Yeah, like what I mentioned earlier, it has a bit of comedy, and the scenario before I read the so far the book. The protagonist, by the way, his name is Peter One, so Jen Kusong. And then what he's a human is from the village, Provinciano. And one day he wakes up in the middle of wars. He has never seen a machine before, a robot before. So he was struck and he thought he's dreaming. And every time he's in a pinch situation, he would always ask his father, and his father would show up in his imagination and talk to him. So I'm going to read this part. And it's written in the first person point of view, by the way. Aha, I remember father said, Philemon, my son, if you ever find yourself in a nightmare, There's only one way to escape. It's a secret weapon passed on to us from generation to generation by our ancestors, and I've found them effective and powerful in my life and in our entire clan. As you know, I always had bad dreams about those cockroaches and other scary stuff. So now listen carefully, my dear Filimon, my son. If you are in a nightmare, the only way to escape that cruel illusion and evil dream is you should be. Just be, and you will be free in an instant. Remember that as well as for you, my beloved son. And then back to Filimon. I feel a warm liquid under my legs, warmer than the coffee that I always drink every morning. I hold my pants, and there's no doubt it's wet. This is not a dream. Where am I? It's comedy.
I thought you said this book is sci-fi. Okay, but it's comedy. Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
As I said, I am a cinephile, so um, this book is also composed of my about me. So the one that I will be reading is in my rule number 46. Its title is Someone's Light. So we need someone's light to be someone in this world because okay, I'll be reading this. This is inspired by the moon named Who. So every living wants to be someone, wants to be many things they wanted, but doubts pulls them back to that realization of being no one. People say you can't be anything. You can be like this and not that thing. You want to be everything, but people encourage you to be nothing. Look at the moon above. Look at the light it casts in your window. You think he is bright and wonderful. Doesn't he doesn't have his own light, don't you know? But it doesn't guarantee he's not here. It doesn't mean he's no one, right? The moon doesn't produce its light. The sunlight reflects it. Just like the moon, you are something. You can be who you wanted to be, with someone that makes you shine the brightest. You can be everything and anything. Be with someone who stays, even if you're in color gray. Be with someone who doesn't envy and leave you along the way. Like the moon, shine in the darkness. You can be everything and anything. You can be in different phases as long as there's someone that stays.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Miss JC for empty time.
As what I said earlier, this book talks about betrayal. So this excerpt, ito na yung si Golda ni Handler, yung male character.
Ghosting.
Yeah. So the Gen Z knows this much is about ghosting. Golda, malalim na ang gabi. Hindi ka pa ba papasok sa loob? Nababahalang tanong ng ina ni Golda. 3 buwan na rin ang lumipas. Di anino ni Handler ay hindi na niya nakita. Pinatay mo na niya ang lamok na dumapo sa kanyang braso, saka masiglang sumagot. Ma, baka pupunta si Handler. Sabado naman ngayon at walang klase. Napabuntong hininga na lang ito at nakarehistro sa mga mata ang pag-aalala sa kanya. Anak, masakit ang umasasawa. Hindi ma'am, darating siya. Sabi niya ay maglalaan siya ng oras para magkita kami. Mabilis at nakingiti niyang tugon. Kung gaanong kababaw ng pag-asa ng kanyang ina, ay siyang katayog naman ng pag-asang pinaghahawakan niya. Kasintayog ito ng Mount Apo. Golda, pinabihan siya nito sa pag-upo sa kawayan nilang upuan at hinawakan ang kanyang kamay. Minsan, mabilis bumitaw ng mga salita. Pero napakahirap nitong ipakita sa gawa. Pero bakit ganon, ma? Garangal na ang boses niya. Pinanghahawakan ko ang pangako niya ngayon. Araw-araw ako nagbabaka sakaling bibisitahin niya ako na hindi problema ang pagkakahiwalay namin ng paaralan. Na baka busy lang talaga siya sa pag-aaral niya. Nag-uunahang kumawala ang masaganang mga luha sa kanyang mga mata. Makinig ka, Golda. Mahinahong wika ng kanyang ina. Nasusukat ang isang relasyon hindi sa mga panahong palagi kayong nagkakasama. Ngunit sa mga panahong malayo kayo sa isa't isa. Doon nasusubok ang mga tatag ninyo. Kung may isang bibigay, sabay ninyong hahawakan ang inyong pangako. Sa mga panahong iyon, ay tila isa siyang bahay kubong gawa sa kubon at kahoy, na marahan, ngunit dahan-dahang tinutupok ng apoy. Unti-unting nahihina, unti-unting nawawala ng pag-asa. Ngunit muling nakabawi at nag-angat ng tingin. Hindi ma'am, maghihintay pa rin ako. Dagling pinahid niya ang kanyang mga luha. Napasinghap ang ina at pinisil ang kanyang kalat. Okay, naiintindihan kita. Sa ngayon ay matutulog na muna tayo. Sige ma'am, mauna na po kayo. Susunod ako. Walang ganang sambit niya.
Golda, listen to your mom. If he ghosted you for 3 months, he's a he's in the field already. Okay, he's out. Okay. So, for her last question, before we get to our last talk by Miss Ayo, where can we find you guys? Where can we read your works? It's time to promote your Facebook page, perhaps with your Instagram, so that people here can find you and your future works. Daisy?
Okay, as I said earlier, I have a Facebook account. So it's JZ, and then the surname is Romeo. Okay. JZ Romeo. So on Wattpad also, JZ Romeo, so it's one word. So there you can find my works, all my works. So aside from this, you can read it online.
For free.
For free, yes.
And so I write in Wattpad and my username there is Writer Lay. And I also post in Facebook my poetry in my page, Writer Lay Updates, and Dea Jane Salud, my personal Facebook page, I Facebook account. And Twitter, I am Dea Jane Salud, and on Instagram, I am Day Wattpad 21.
Thank you, Daniel.
You can find me on Facebook, same name, Daniel Indic. Instagram, Daniel Strife. And also, I just launched my YouTube channel, PITV. It's for, aspiring authors. I educate them the process of self-publishing step by step. It's just a month ago I just launched my PITV.
Nice.
Okay, I actually have an author's page in Facebook. It's under the same name, Alyssa Caballero. And you can also find me on Instagram, which is _Caballero. So you can find me there, or I will produce a Sky code if ever. I will put it there if you have problems looking for my account. So I'll be able to. So you can find my future works, my artworks.
Thank you so much to all 4 millennial writers out here. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. And please support them by buying their books. They're all available here at the back part of this stage. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so up next we have Miss Ayo to conduct a workshop. It's April Legacy. So we'll talk about how to write your book and how to publish it. So, and while we prepare here, you can grab some water, fruits, or candies, cookies at the back.